Casino is the name, and in this video, I just wanted to talk about the fact that my friends, my rich friends, they don't really understand me, and I was kind of like just trying to figure out what the what the separation is, and I think I figured it out. I come from, and I'm still very, very still connected to, I guess, I don't want to say the streets or the hood or whatever, but I'm still connected to a lot of people who are still in the process of changing their lives. And a lot of my rich friends, they've been rich a while, And so, or either they were never really as connected to certain hood elements as I grew up or whatever. So there are things that I do and I don't do, and they don't understand because they don't have those same kind of things, above them, or above their head. It's certain moves that I just won't make, and certain things that I just won't do, just because I have a certain still connection. I'm still so close to what it's like to be on the bottom. I still know a lot of people at that level. So, DL said, I'm not rich yet. I don't have any friends. Nobody understands me. That's funny. That's funny that you say that. I'm live, by the way, in case you guys watch this video after the fact. By the way, DL, can you hear me good? I don't know if you guys can hear me mic'd up, but don't know how well this is coming through because I'm sitting outside. But, it was crazy because I really got the idea for this video while sitting out here, because, I'm sitting outside looking at my backyard at one of my houses, and to think that I grew up in apartments, and not to mention, I grew up in the area code 32304, or zip code 32304, which is the poorest zip code in Florida. And it's in Tallahassee, Florida. Not saying that Tallahassee, Florida is the poorest city in Florida, but the zip code 32304, where I actually grew up, is the poorest zip code in Florida. All right, so I grew up, I went to Godby High School, went to Griffin Middle School. My zip code was actually 32304. And when I saw that come across, because I think he's a football player, he just got signed to go to some college. I'm not sure, I got to do more research on it. And his coach was saying, coming from a school in the poor zip code in Florida, and I'm trying to figure out, what? Because people were saying he from Godby, where I went to school, where I graduated. So when I looked it up, I was like, man, that's crazy that I just, like you just said, I just won the Millennium of the Year award, the Wealth Builder of the Millennium Award, and the Wealth Builder of the Year Award. The Wealth Builder of the Year Award by JT Hustles, you had to make $30,000 in a month, and the Wealth Builder of the Millennium Award, you had to do $100,000 in 100 days. And I won both of those awards this year. And just to think, I grew up in the poorest zip code in Florida, and now I'm sitting outside of not just my house, but just one of my houses. So it's like a humbling kind of thing. But, I have quite a few rich friends, much, much richer than myself. And, sometimes my rich friends are saying things like, hey, let's take a trip to Paris, or let's take a trip to, wherever, let's run to Jamaica real quick for the weekend, last minute, hey, let's just get a jet and just shoot over here real quick. And I'm like, I can't do that, Not that I couldn't afford to chip in, or even sometimes they'll be like, yo, don't even worry about it. I got that, right? I can cover that. I'm already got the jet. Just come. And I still can't just necessarily take myself away, because so many other things kind of depend on me keeping my hands on things, and I have to still, knowing that, yeah, if I did shoot out of town, I still have to spend money while I'm out of town and stuff like that I really probably need to be doing something else with. I need to be reinvesting. I need to be reinvesting into my people. I need to be reinvesting into my own things or whatever. So I'm not quite at a stage where everybody around me is good. Like, and so with that, it's like a different, because my rich friends are like, wait, you good? Like, you know, why take on this burden, or why do you feel so uh, obligated to do certain things? And it's just like they just ain't gonna understand really, because they not, they just not from. They're so far. Like, they don't know anybody who still need $1,000 like I do. They're not connected to that space anymore, because they just either been rich for so long, or they were never at the level where I guess I was. Maybe they were maybe, and some of them, a lot of them come from like the bottom. So a lot of them, well, their bottom might just be different from my bottom, where their bottom might have been, they were the bottom. They were the poorest person that they knew. And or maybe they only were connected to one or two people who kind of struggled, and they've already helped those people out, so now everybody's straight. I'm not like that. I grew up around a lot of people, and a lot of family members, and a lot of friends, and a lot of things like that me being an entrepreneur, the goal is for me to be able to help affect change and help other people grow. By the way, could y'all please smash the like button? Hold on, let me read this. Let me read. DL says, yeah, you sound good, bro. Congratulations on the award. Thanks, man. Thanks, appreciate that. Does Glendon Cameron's courses work? He has a course on how to start an anonymous business entity. He calls it a hidden business. Will that work in real world practice? Anonymous holding companies, LLCs. Not really sure if you're talking about shell companies. Do they work? It's called a hidden business. I'm not really sure his Glendon Cameron's process or practices, as far as, like, I'm not really clear on what that course is about. But do shell companies work? I mean, they exist. Yeah, they exist. There are people who started a bunch of companies and just held them for a couple of years, and they built business credit up, and they sold those businesses, and other people use those businesses to own other businesses. And so, yeah, there's ways where all of that kind of stuff works, but I'm not really sure what you're trying to do with it, what the goal of his course is to do with something like that. Do you need to do that? I don't need to do that, but there's possibly reasons why people may want to do that. I haven't come across a reason for me to have to do that. Not really sure what that's about. But yeah, so I just, have to, talking to some of my rich friends, and, when you got a friend of yours who got like several $1 million, and they've had several $1 million for like a decade, like it's a different thing, because I'm kind of new money, right? Like, first generation wealth is already its own world in itself, right? Like, it's different from old money, and it's just it's still levels inside of like first generational wealth, right? So me building up, there's, like I said, if you 10 years in, like even me, for where I am, right? It's still a huge gap between where I am and where somebody is who hasn't made it to where I am, right? Like, this is a huge, huge gap where you haven't even, somebody may never have experienced some of the issues with even just moving money around. I've had trouble just paying people. Just being able to give you money that you earned at times, like, because the amounts, exceed a certain amount. Like, it's, okay, he says, DL says, not shell companies, anonymous entities, companies started to conceal, yeah, that's a shell company, conceal the ownership of the company to deter frivolous lawsuits from people that want to look out for easy ways to steal their money by suing. Yeah, that's basically a shell company. Yeah, shell company is a form of asset protection. I'm not, what you're describing to me sounds like a shell company. Yeah, that sounds like a shell company. It's not really used for anything but to what I would think a shell company is. Like what you're describing to me sounds like that. But but yeah, so like it's things like that, and then dealing with people and understanding how different people feel when they need money and stuff like that. Even like the way I say, if I'm running a company, me understanding that this person who's maybe working for me may not be straight. So me being understanding to say, okay, well, even though I have to wait on money, maybe you can't wait on money. So I'm gonna go ahead and pay you before we actually receive the money or portion of it, just to make sure you kind of good. Some of my richer counterparts, not necessarily my friends, but people who I know who have a lot more money than me, way more money than me, they could care less. They don't care how long you gotta wait, because they not fit to give you money out of their pocket, even though the money is on the way. They're not gonna do that just to make sure you straight, right? And so today I got a call. I was talking to my brother, and he was telling me about like how close, because he was saying like some of our other people are seeing, because now they're in positions where they're elevating, right? Where they're running their own companies now and stuff like that on a high level, doing government contracts and stuff. And so them and some other people who are around or that we just know, they're seeing like what I went through before, and now they're having to go through something similar, or they're getting ready to go through something similar. And so we were just, talking about like, you ask for another level, and when that other level comes, you just kind of got to be ready for it. And fortunately, fortunately we was kind of ready, you know what I mean? But you have to like kind of shift your mind when you're dealing with people, because people are very delicate, your employees and things like that. So it's like seeing what I had to go through. A lot of other people around me was like, dang, that's, I want the money, but you do have to deal with some things, right? And yeah, you got to deal with some things, but you also want the money. So it's like you gotta do that, and not everybody is ready or mature enough, So, part of what I do with my company is like I'm trying to constantly evolve the people I'm around so that everybody kind of understands what's coming. Because once they get into those positions, then they're gonna also be dealing with, because they're like me. They're not like other people. We're dealing with mainly people we know, to try and put everybody else in a better position. So you also definitely want to be very delicate when you're dealing with your own people, especially. Okay, so DL says, I was taught that a shell company was a fake company that was started up by using a registry with the intent of seasoning the age of the company to be sold to someone else to use the age to get biz credit. Was my definition wrong? I'm scared, bro. So that is a form. That is what you can use a shell company for. But some people buy those fictitious names in order to hide the things that they do. Like they may buy a shell company, which just basically means it doesn't really hold anything, right? So they buy a company, then they use that company to buy another company, then they use that company to buy another company, and it's like a continuous until it's like maybe 8 different shell companies. So the company Z is doing the work on the ground, and you get ready to sue them, but you have to go through all these other channels in order to get to a certain point. And it helps to mask who, the lawsuit issues or whatever. Either way, that's something that rich people do, for sure. Glendon teaches on holding companies. Yeah. Are you too busy with business to be my accountant? Yes, I have an accountant. So yeah, I have 2 accountants. Definitely too busy to be an accountant per se. CEO stuff is way different. My time is spent mostly trying to either figure out the best move for Alphabet is a holding company. They own Google. Right. Well, it's a lot of holding companies. So even my company was designed for it to be a holding company. I wanted it to be like the parent company to my other ventures. And I tell people that all the time when they ask me about like what business name to choose to do this or to do that. I always tell them choose a name that doesn't like lock you into a particular thing. Like, let's say you want to do government contracts. By the way, could you guys please smash the like button? Can y'all please smash that like button for me? But let's say let's say you want to do government contracts and you're a painter, right? So you create a company called, I don't know, Mosaic Painting LLC. That might be somebody's actual company name. I don't know. I'm just making something up. But let's say you name it Mosaic Painting LLC. And then your brother does, I don't know, car maintenance. He fixes cars. So then you create another company, and maybe you guys are from, and maybe he names the company Mosaic, Mosaic car maintenance. Simple and plain. And so then you want to go get government contracts. So your mind is, I need to go after maintenance contracts and painting contracts because I have a painting company and I have a maintenance company. Now, you could have just called it Mosaic Industries LLC and gone after both painting contracts and the car maintenance contracts, you know? So you don't have to lock yourself into a particular thing. By the way, man, we got a couple people on here. We only got 2 likes. Man, we got to get more likes than that. I'm trying to get the, okay. DL says, did the government just started using a new bill require all owners to declare themselves, hold on, requiring, I'm trying to, this is not popping up right. Hold on, let me try to look on here. Let's see. Let me see. Let me try and catch it the way you guys are. Because I can't, for whatever reason, it ain't popping up on here right. Let's see. I'm gonna have to go on this other one, this other phone to pull it up. Let me get in the comment section with y'all. All right, so let's see. DL said, did the government just start using a new bill requiring all owners to declare themselves, right? Okay. Is that a national registry that everyone can get access to, or is it just for the IRS to have access? I'm honestly not even sure what that is because I have honestly no idea what. Bad English, I had to change the question to make it fit. YouTube limits the number of characters you can type in a message. No problem. So DL, I am not sure. I've been declaring myself, so I'm not really sure what that's about. I'll look it up and come back with a better answer, I guess. But I mean, I don't know what they're having you declare. You should pay your taxes, right? You have tax avoidance and you have tax evasion. Tax avoidance is legal. You can do that. Avoid paying taxes, but don't evade paying taxes, okay? So if it's for the IRS, pay your taxes. If it's because they want to make sure that you're not a government employee who is receiving income from government contracts and they feel like you have an inside person or you're the inside person allowing yourself to get contracts, then that makes sense too. But there shouldn't be an issue with declaring yourself. I'm not really sure. Dio, I'm not really sure what you got going on because from the sound of it, you're trying to use shell companies to mask who you are. And also, you're worried about having to declare yourself. I'm just messing with you. All right, so the FMCSA doesn't allow you to be anonymous Every motor carrier and freight broker has to declare themselves. Yeah. I mean, so if you sign up with sam.gov, your company is registered on there. Now, if you are, say, like if you're a small business, right? So I'm a single member LLC, right? Most of the people I know are single member LLC. There's a few times when there's people who have joint ventures, or like not joint ventures, but they have a partnership where it's like a group of people who started the LLC and they got a board or something like that. But for the most part, most people I know are single member LLC. So if you're a single member LLC and you're signing up with these, signing your company up, I mean, your information is already kind of out there, when you sign up with these government websites and stuff. So like sam.gov and things like that, you can Google people's companies. Like, let me see, is this phone connected? I just got this phone yesterday. I got two phones yesterday. Let me see. Okay, no thanks. I'm trying to see if I can pull up. Okay, sam.gov. Type in sam.gov. I hope the wind isn't blowing too hard out here. I got the mic under my shirt, so let's see. sam.gov. Select domain. Let's see. There's a way. Okay, check entity status. I don't know. I think there's a way to look up people's website, like people's companies. Search. Maybe that's just searching contracts. Okay, but it's supposed to be some kind of way. I know you could pull up people's information. Not really sure what website, but I definitely used to do it. I'm just not interested in it really. But there is somebody out there who does government contracts. You meet them out and you get to talking with them like at like different venues and stuff. Then I just ask them, hey, what's your company name? They tell me their company name. I can look them up and see what they do. They'll tell you how many contracts they got awarded, all kind of stuff. Like it doesn't like cover everything, because I won a federal contract, a micro contract, and it wasn't on. Like I didn't bid on it on sam.gov and stuff like that. It was kind of like a direct kind of thing, or like a private kind of thing. So I won that contract, and I know that information isn't up. And then I did a lot of subcontracting on the local level and stuff like that, and even on the federal level. And none of that stuff would show up in those systems. How they do that, I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to put it in or they put it in, I don't know. But that kind of stuff don't show up. But for people who are winning like big contracts and stuff like that, or a lot of the way these contracts go in, you can see it. Who mentored you with government contracts? I need a mentor. I'm registered with sam.gov. I don't know what to do next. So I got a mentor. My mentor program was subcontracting. I subcontracted on a Sheenapreneur. You can find her on Instagram at Sheenapreneur. She has a YouTube channel as well, Sheenapreneur. So I was doing contracts with her. She actually commented on one of my videos, and I did a video about government contracts. Now I had already done government contracts in the past. They were just a different form. I was doing entertainment, so we was doing shows for the government and things like that. And so I was doing some stuff already in the past, but after becoming a federal employee, I was refraining from doing government contracts, because the questions with my job being like a high level top secret job and government contracts, it became questionable. And even having this YouTube channel, I had to go through the ethics board and all kind of stuff to even have this channel. So I kind of refrained from doing government contracts, especially at the federal level, because of that. So I was just on here doing videos telling people, hey, there's money here. I know you can make millions of dollars doing government contracts. Do this. And she was in the comment section. She commented on one of the videos, and she was like, yeah, she was talking to somebody saying that she does government contracts and he's right about this. And, and somebody was like asking her questions, and next thing I know, she had like a few different things. I was like, yo, she knows what she's talking about. and she does this for real, like for a living. So it should be great to have on the channel to interview. So I brought her on the channel to interview, and we did a couple videos. And I was still working at the time with the government, and so I was like, you know what? I called one day. I was like, hey, I know what I want to do. I want to leave my job and do government contracts, because the idea was I would leave my job for YouTube if I could get YouTube to a certain point. I was way more comfortable leaving my job for government contracts than I was for YouTube, right? Because I don't make as much money as people like JT. You know, JT Automations make a crazy amount of money on here. I don't make that much money. I think he's making like 85,000 a month on here. Okay, I don't make anything like that. I think his 1 month is like 1 month of his AdSense is more than like what I've made in the entire time I've been on the channel, right? So now this will be a great dream kind of goal, but it's not really where I make the money. Yeah, somebody, Himothy, aka I'm him, says we're in the same boat. So I plan on launching a mentor program soon, but while I was still working, you know, I had like an epiphany, and I said, you know what? Government contracts is where it's at. I don't want to do what I'm doing anymore as an accountant, as an auditor or whatever for the federal government. I'm very smart. I'm a natural leader, you know, and I wanted to work for the government to be able to affect change. But even though I was making change at a very high level, right? They were reading our reports on the House floor, you know, in front of the Senate and Congress and stuff like that. So our reports get read like that. They go out all across the news. But even that, none of the people who I knew even knew anything about, you know, the things that I was affecting change on, the reports that were being written by my team and stuff like that. They never saw it because it was such a high level. You know, it'll affect the world, but it don't affect my immediate like area where I'm, you know, with my people and stuff like that. So being a CEO actually allows me to be able to provide opportunities and educate and do a lot of other things that affect my immediate community or circle much, much better and faster. So I had to go from being too high level to being more local, as far as running my own company and being able to make decisions based off of where I am, instead of, I was out in, my last audit, I was out in California at the Mexican border. You know, like, how is that helping, you know, me in Florida or my family in Florida and Georgia? Like, it doesn't. So that was kind of that. So that's kind of why I made that change. And so I had reached out and said, hey, you know, I need to do that, right? It just came to me. I woke up like, hey, I know what I need to do. And I called and she was like, yeah, sure, like, okay, you finally ready? Cool, because she had been saying I need to do it, right? But it was like, I need to be able to I thought I would be able to use YouTube to transition into YouTube and then to transition into government contracts, because I still had a job. So I needed to transition out of my job, and then, but it kind of just went the opposite. And I kind of was like, you know, jumping out here, and she said, okay, well, I'll let you know if I have any other opportunities. And then boom, she hit me up. It's like, hey, I got an opportunity for some. I don't know if you'll be interested. She really didn't think I'd be interested. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Started doing that, gave my people a job. And then the next one came, and the next one came, you know what I mean? So it just kept building from there. And so now I'm 100%. I got a video on this channel where I quit my job, you know what I'm saying, where I sent the resignation email or whatever. And I just kind of like been like recording the whole process, like my process, you know, to get to this point. Like, somebody just told me they saw the video where I had the guys in the room and we were like doing paperwork, and they were like, what were y'all doing? And so, you know, I was like, dang, I forgot all about that video. But yeah, so we've been kind of like going along, and, you know, certain things I can talk about, certain things I can't talk about, you know. So we got a new job right now we can't really discuss the details on, you know. They made sure we signed saying don't discuss details on social media, that kind of thing. So, you know, let me see what you guys are saying. But I am planning to launch a mentor program. Let me see. Real J Rock says, yeah, it's rough out here. It's tough out here. Timothy says, DL, I don't have any friends either. Y'all can be my friend, you know. By the way, if you haven't already, smash that like button, you know. But yeah, like coming from like what I came from, I realized that I'm just still so connected to like the bottom, where my friends, my rich friends, are just so far away from it. Or maybe they were just not as connected to things. Maybe I just come from a very populated area and I was just very popular as a kid or something like that growing up, and I'm just or got a huge family or something. I don't know. But a lot of my richer friends, they don't have to deal with a half of the things that I have to deal with. And I always thought that was like an interesting kind of thing for people I knew who, let's say you go into the military, right? Or you go into the military and there may be a guy from wherever he's from, and Timothy says, Casino, who taught you government contracts? You know, I've been doing government contracts just differently. I just mentioned this, but just differently since I was young. I didn't even know I was doing, I ain't trying to get stung by that. I just didn't know I was even doing, like, it wasn't presented as government contracts. Like, it wasn't like a thing. It was like we were doing shows for the government, like for the military and stuff. Like they were bringing us to do concerts type stuff, you know? So it wasn't even like I was thinking about it as a government contract, or that government contracts was a thing or whatever like that. It was just like a job. It was just like getting any other contract. Like it was just for them instead of for this club or whatever. So it really wasn't that kind of thing. But my sister was big into government contracts. She's a grant writer, stuff like that. And she teaches classes on how to do grant writing and government contract stuff for the actual government. Like small business administrations, like state offices have hired her on a government contract to come teach a class about government contracts. So I had that, and then, but when I broke out and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go all in, it was Sheena. Bar none. It was Sheenapreneur. Gave me my first chance to, like, you know, experience is the best teacher. So me being able to get my hands, you know, dirty and do some things allowed me really the most opportunity to grow. So for that, I was Sheena, for sure. So having Sheena and my sister have greatly propelled me, and experience have greatly propelled me in the right direction. Also, I worked in the accounting section for the government, so I worked in I dealt with fund controls and things like that, and budgets and things like that. So like, I also understand how money is allocated and things like that, and where the money sits and the different kind of codes it has to be put under and stuff like that. So that also helps me in a different way. Then I worked as an auditor for Homeland Security at the highest level of audit in the world for OIG, Office of Inspector General, which I couldn't even discuss before. So I did that, and so I got a chance to see kind of like what contractors have done to break the law, or have done right or have done wrong, and things like that from a contractor standpoint, like what, you know, and just understanding the different types of contracts that come out, and who's paying what and who's paying what. It's things that right now I still can't do because of the position that I had. I still have like a waiting period that I can't go after certain kind of contracts, but I know where some of the money is. You know, I know where the big money is. You know, I know what this person's budget is, and I know what this person's budget is with this agency. So I have an idea of where I'm going to be headed, you know, when I get there. But I'm still on my. Hasn't been that long since I left my career as an auditor, so I got to wait. because I can't deal with any agency that falls under Homeland Security until afterwards, because I was in that position. And it's 22 agencies that fall under Homeland Security. So, but it's plenty of other money out here, you know. But yeah. By the way, where's everybody watching from? Where y'all at? Check in. Let's see where y'all at. By the way, smash that like button for your boy, man. We got more people on here than like, so smash that like button for me. Glad to see y'all right now. Glad to see y'all, man. I'm trying to get to a point where I can go full time, like doing this. But in order for me to do that, I need to. Atlanta, that's what's happening. Atlanta, the spot, man. It's where it's at. So, but yeah, I'm trying to get this. I want to grow this to a point where I can survive. It can at least survive off it. Then I can go bigger in this, right? Where I can teach more and stuff like that. But I also need to make sure, so my government contracting side, and this is kind of what I was saying before, like there's things you deal with. Like, of course, it's more money. You deal with things at a higher level when you're a CEO or whatever. Even as a small business CEO or whatever, especially. But it's more money. But more money allows you to put things in place that you can't put in place if you don't have enough money. It's period, right? So with enough money, say you get, let's say you got a job, or you got a contract, and the contract is a $200,000 contract, but you got to hire 3 people. Each one of those people, you got to pay $50,000, right? So you got to pay $50,000 to 3 people. You got $200,000. Your profit is $50,000, right? But you also got to carry insurance. You gotta, you gotta maintain things and stuff like that. And so, but let's say all in all, your profit is $50,000. Okay, your profit is $50,000. It's not the craziest money. Now, $200,000 came in, your profit is $50,000 for the whole year. There's regular people out here making $50,000, right? But yeah, you're the CEO, you got to deal with whatever. But you made $50,000. So that $50,000 may cost you to have to pick up that phone a lot, because you don't really have. Maybe you want to hire an assistant, but your assistant gonna cost you $40,000. You can't hire an assistant at $40,000. Well, let's say you do hire an assistant at $40,000. Now your profit is only $10,000. So you probably not gonna hire that assistant, and you probably gonna answer all those calls, answer all those emails. You're gonna do all of that. You're gonna go, what y'all need over there? Okay, I'm gonna run over here and pick it up. So the CEO is picking up and dropping off materials and things like that, and that's what's gonna happen, right? Now, had it been maybe 240,000, and you could have still kept that same 50,000 if you're happy with that 50,000, and then you could have hired an assistant at 30 or 40,000 to answer the emails, to make those runs for you, so you could focus on getting more contracts and getting bigger and growing your business. But instead, the money ain't enough for you to build no infrastructure. So when you're dealing with when you're dealing with larger amounts of money, let's say you're dealing with a $7 million contract, and your profit for that contract, let's say your profit for that contract is $1.2 million. Let's just say that's your profit. Maybe, hopefully it's more than that, but let's just say your profit is $1.2 million on a $7 million contract for the year. So you're gonna make $1.2 million for the year, but now you can, instead of you having to deal with necessarily the labor force, maybe you spend $250 out of that, or 200, that 0.2 on building infrastructure. You hire highly educated or motivated or seasoned professionals to buffer between you and the bottom. Because how often do you sub out the work? So I mainly deal with subcontractors. So I subcontract. So it's interesting, because I primarily deal with subcontractors. Like all my guys, I had them start their own companies, and I sub the work to their companies. And it might just be one small part, right? And I might have multiple companies under under, I might sub out to a bunch of smaller entities to do one particular part, but I mainly sub out all the work. I don't have any W-2 employees except for me, and you know, as a contractor, they're kind of on their own time and things like that. So, you know, so yeah, but I mainly sub out all the work. Yeah, I think that's a benefit to be able to like sub out all the work. But I mean, as far as to deal with contractors, 1099 people, that's great. Moving forward, I know I have to do some W-2 stuff. Contractors cost more, So even though I'm subbing out the work, it's actually costing me more than if I just paid somebody by the hour, right? A lot of contractors, they get paid by the job. So, versus by the hour. By the hour is cheaper than by the job. But I also like to be able to motivate people to get a job done. So if I pay you for a job, you're more than likely to go ahead and get the job done versus kind of like play around on the clock. At least that's the concept. Moving forward, though, in order for me to profit the most and to grow the most, I'm gonna probably end up definitely having to go W-2 in the future for certain things. But yeah, so for small business set aside, does anyone have to be certified? So for a set aside, okay, so there are self-identified, unless they've changed it, you can self-identify as a small business. So it's just certain agencies, I think the VA may be one of those agencies, but you can't self-identify. You have to like get certified. But most of them, at least a little while back, they've been changing some stuff here lately, so that's why I don't know. But it was, in the past, it was, you didn't have to be certified for, say, a small business set aside. You just had, not like certified through like a official, you turn in documents and they reviewed it and they certified you. You would be self-certified, like you would certify yourself. You would say, no, I'm a small business when you check a box. And so it was like that for most agencies. But, that might have changed, I don't know. Because they've been changing a lot of stuff. Some stuff was going through the VA, some stuff was going through the SBA, some stuff was going through, and they kind of like trying to combine and streamline and move stuff around. So, But let me see what else y'all saying. Okay. All right. So I only see Atlanta, Columbus. They are the only two states that's on here. Only two cities. Georgia, we in here, huh? That's it. It's 15 people on here, man. We got 11 likes. You gotta get them likes up, man. Y'all smash that like button. Smash that like button. But I'm trying to get my business to a point where I can focus on building content. And I got, my house that I've been working on. If you watch these videos, in some of the most recent videos, I've been going around showing this house that we've been remodeling. And I was previously planning to get like a place to record, because I definitely want to do YouTube more serious. Anytime one of your friends come by and he making $85,000 a month on YouTube, and you not, I'm making like $100 a month on YouTube, right? So it's a big difference. And he's like, yo, what are you doing, right? And so it's like, okay. Plus, I enjoy this. I enjoy helping. This has had some of the greatest impact on other people's lives through this channel than I could have ever done just talking to people, like helping random people on the street. This has way more of an impact. You have no idea how many people have said, yo, you feeding my kids with some of the stuff that I heard on your channel, some of the people you interviewed, and hearing their stories motivated me to go out and go do this. And like, it's like crazy. So I want to be able to do this, and if I could do this full time and stuff like that. But that house that I've been working on, I've decided, because it's going to be an Airbnb, but at the same time, I was like, man, I can use it for a content house. Even though it's like an hour and a half from where I live, once a week or so, I can maybe just go down there and shoot for like several hours, and then that way I can take a day and just go down there and shoot. I can leave like all of my equipment and my lights and all that kind of stuff, drones and shit. I can leave all that stuff down there, and I can just go and I can just take a couple hours a day out of a day and just shoot like a whole day. Cause like JT shoot like, I think he shoot like 9 videos a day. Every day he shoot 9 videos. There's no way. I think he's gonna be dropping like 3 videos a day, but he's shooting like 9 a day. It's no way I can keep up with that right now. You know what I'm saying? But now I got a few videos in the tuck. So I got some videos already that I have been shooting. I'm back. You feel me? I am back. You hear me? I'm back. I got even some trucking stuff coming up. So I'm back though. So, but if I can just maybe take a day and go shoot maybe like a whole day down there and, come back. It's like an hour and a half down, hour and a half back. So it's like a 3-hour, commute, but maybe just one day a week, I just go down there and shoot the whole time, and then I come back and, that'll be that. But anyway, as a matter of fact, I'm about to head down there. I got to go pick up my son. He's out for the summer. So I'm about to go down that way, and who knows, we might shoot something down there. Anyway, right now you're watching Casino is the Name. If you like anything that we do on this channel, man, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and we out.